So one of my missions when I set out to become the unLibrarian was also to shed light on the field of librarianship. Because to say librarian, not many people really understand what that is, what it entails. In part because it is so interdisciplinary, it's so multifaceted. I mean, when you go to library school, you learn how to be a reference librarian, to do reference interviews, to ask questions, to be able to figure out what answers the person is after. You learn to do programming, to be able to run children's programs, teen programs, adult programs, all different types of audiences. You learn about that. You learn about classification, so you know how things are organized. You learn about terminology and vocabulary, so you know how to search for things and how people's minds work for finding things on the internet, especially because the internet is where information is. And librarians do look at the internet, but they also look at a lot of other sources too. Myself, my specialty that chose me kind of, is a reference librarian, being a resource librarian. I mean, I've worked at archives, museums, government libraries, public libraries, and even academic libraries. I don't know if there's one I haven't really gone into. I got to experience them all, and it was wonderful. I'm very, very grateful for that. So we have all these different librarians out there, and they're all different information specialists. They all have their own genre or passion, usually. And this is where you find a lot of librarians are usually in activism or politics because they have an active passion. The interesting part about that is in librarianship, there's a high ethical standard to, keep privacy, adhere to very respectful standards, while also safeguarding the resources, the references that allow people to self-culture and self-educate without it being censored. It's finding that nice balance of, actually, it's not even about a balance. It's about do as ye will, as long as ye harm none. And librarians, I find, in my opinion, do stand very, very much for that. The other very common phrase in my librarian life is ask and you shall receive. You have a question, we will do everything we can so you can receive that answer. So when you hear about librarians, it's not just internet. It's not just children's books and programming. It is so much more. And it's so behind the scenes, the work we do, that it's harder to acknowledge it because it's not seen. You don't see everybody cataloging. You don't see even the web developers putting their metadata into their website so you can find it. Well, indexing is part of a librarian's bag of understanding that. It's part of why I'm a really good troubleshooter, because I sit down and look at a program and go, oh, well, if I'm a developer, where would I find this? And I go, there it is. It's looking at the background processes, and that's where I have that advantage as a reference librarian to be able to do that troubleshooting, to find those answers, and be ever resourceful with my everyday magic. It is a lot of fun. It's a huge passion of mine. And so I keep looking for a topic to talk about. My first one's going to be librarianship. Let's see how long I keep this one going. So thank you again for joining. And I hope this was a bit enlightening about what is librarianship. And it is very multifaceted. I can tell you that. And we're everyday magicians. That's all. Nice and simple. Till next time from the unLibrarian.